In this video, we got ourselves a mystery box opening. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video with Swaggle. And in this video, we got ourselves a mystery box opening. Well, kind of a mystery box opening. Not technically a mystery box. It's not that I actually made this purchase. It's that a friend of the channel, Comic Ozzi, and great content creator as well, YouTuber in the comic book community, sent me over this package here today. And even though I don't know what's in it, the fact that it's shaped like a Gemini mailer, it leads me to believe that he sent me over some comics. So in this video, I'm going to do this unboxing, and then I might talk about mystery boxes in general because, you know, I personally don't buy them. I have strong feelings about it, but, you know, we can get that in this video here today. But before I get into the unboxing, if you guys can drop me a like or comment or subscribe if you're enjoying the content, help support the channel, doing all those things, I would appreciate it. But let us get into this right away here. So Comic Ozzi, who is a great YouTuber, like I mentioned, does a lot of comic book content. I will definitely put a link in the description if you guys have, you know, not discovered him yet. But he recently came across a comic book collection, one of the best comic book collections I think that there's ever been. I mean, he basically bought out like a store, you know, from like the 90s that had all their comics in the basement for quite some time. So he's been, you know, kind of going through it and shooting me over like all these awesome keys that he's been finding. And he had made mention that he's like, I got a few things for you. What's your address? So that leads me to believe that he sent over a mystery box. So this is kind of the fun part here. I've never really done a mystery box before because I don't really like them. And so the other thing is too, like maybe this is not a true mystery box because I think Comic Ozzi knows my general tastes in comic books. So unlike a mystery box where it's completely random, I feel like, you know, there's probably going to be some stuff in here that's a little more curated to things that I like. So it definitely looks like some comic books here. So at least I didn't screw up this video by unboxing, you know, I don't know, a t-shirt or something, because this is a comic book YouTube channel. So that would have been kind of disappointing for you guys if I was going to show off some non-comic related stuff here today. All right, well, we got to get the tape off here. Just trying to fill up time by talking. Okay. Patreon. Oh, okay. I spoiled it for myself. All right, let's talk about this first one here. All right, so the first one right out the gate, you got to love this. Sending me some Silver Age Avengers. You know I love me some Silver Age Avengers. So this first one here, and this is actually going to test my comic book knowledge. I'm going to have to speak from the cuff on this one. This is Avengers number 56, a beautiful copy. Actually, a pretty high grade overall. I mean, there's definitely some ticks, but you know, maybe this is in the 6s or 7 range. But this actually right here, I believe would be Captain America's origin retold. I don't know if this is, you know, a major key in any kind of way, but it's a nice little minor key from a Silver Age Avengers run. This one is actually one that I did not have for my Avengers Grail run. So props to Comic Ozzi, man. Thank you so much for sending this one over. I like being able to pick these ones up for, you know, little to no dollars, or effectively no dollars on this, because, you know, there's a lot of keys in the Avengers run. When I have to get my, you know, minor keys or fillers, I'm definitely looking to save costs whenever I can. So really happy to check this one off the list. You know, this is one of those books that was going to be like, you know, a $25, $30 purchase for, you know, a minor key. So it's good to save a little money on that end. All right, this next one here, sticking to that Avengers theme. This is a book. I love this book. I absolutely love this book. Another one he sent over to me. Avengers number 46, first appearance of Whirlwind. Now, you guys know Whirlwind is, you know, a B-tier villain. I love me some B-tier villains. And he's one of those characters I feel like has had a long historic run with the Avengers overall. Like, I mean, how many times have you seen Whirlwind on the cover of, like, you know, Avengers books in the, you know, 70s and 80s and even in the 90s? And this is a character I think is really interesting. I would love to see them show up in the MCU. I feel like there's probably a lot of, you know, roadblocks to get him there, although I do think that it's eventually going to happen. One of the things that is kind of a roadblock for him is that he's actually technically a mutant, which doesn't mean he has to be a mutant in the MCU. I mean, I don't think most people know that he's actually a mutant, so they could always just bring him in and, like, you know, change his powers. I mean, they're changing Miss Marvel away from being an Inhuman. So why not make a less notable character like Whirlwind, just like some villain? But he's a cool character, one that actually always goes against Janet Van Dyne, the Wasp. If the Wasp had an arch rival to go against, I actually do think that you would have to at least mention Whirlwind in that conversation. One of the cool things about Whirlwind is that this is actually when he becomes this character. There is a Tales to Astonish book, which number escapes me. I think it's Tales to Astonish number 50, that is the first appearance of the Human Top, and that was actually Whirlwind before he became like sort of the super villain version of himself, Whirlwind right here. But a very, very cool book. This one actually might be a little bit higher grade than the one that I already have. So that is definitely pretty cool if that is the case. But this is awesome. I'll definitely pick up this book like every time I see it out there in the wild. I think it's a great book. I think it has a lot of opportunity to eventually gain in value or at least pick up some steam. All right, this next one here is also a very cool... Oh God. Okay. All right. I saw the next one, the next one, which gets me excited. All right. One thing at a time, Swag. All right. Here we go. This next one right here is Vigilante #1, first solo series for the character of Vigilante. Now, I recently picked up that new Teen Titans Annual #2, which is the first, I guess you would call it the first full appearance of Vigilante. I know that it's not actually the first full appearance. It's like basically his first appearance in the costume and you know, effectively his first character appearance. But this one right here is his first solo series. And I had made mention when I picked up that new Teen Titans book that, you know, Vigilante is just a character that I absolutely loved the portrayal of him in the Peacemaker show. I thought he was so funny. And I was instantly converted into a fan of Vigilante. And I actually really do think that, you know, that new Teen Titans book and this one right here, his first solo series, I do think that these books are steadily going to grow over time. I mean, it definitely feels like, you know, we'll probably get a Peacemaker season 2, or maybe we're going to get some other, you know, property with Vigilante in the future. And I really feel like, you know, DC probably thinks that they have something with this character and they'll probably continue to do stuff with him. And I think over time, you know, that this could be like, you know, that character kind of like a Deadpool, like a fan favorite who really, really starts to grow in value because like there's just more and more new fans being converted to him every day. So I really do like that book, and I'm happy to add it to my collection, which is, you know, my second DC book now that I own. I mean, that's not actually true, but it's definitely my second DC key next to his first appearance that I really, really enjoy. All right, and the last book here, yeah, the last book I got in this mystery box, so to speak, from Comic Ozzi is this one right here, one that was actually on my wish list for 2021, a really cool X-Men key. This one is X-Men number 107, first appearance of the Shi'ar, first appearance of, I think, like the M-Cron crystal, and first appearance of one of the characters that I really wanted it for as far as the first appearance is concerned, and that is actually the first appearance of Gladiator, who you can see right there on the bottom of the cover. And Gladiator is a character that I've always really loved. I mean, he actually did make an appearance in that X-Men animated show back in the day, the one that we all love. He's been involved in a lot of storylines. I personally love a lot of the cosmic stuff, like the stuff with Annihilation. I love the stories like War of the Realms and things like that. And so anytime Gladiator is always involved in a storyline, I just tend to like it. I don't know what it is about him. He's basically Superman in space, or he's the Shi'ar version of Superman. And one of the reasons why I like this book so much is that, you know, I think right now in the MCU, we're doing a lot of storylines with the Kree, we're doing a lot of storylines with the Skrull, and I think MCU Cosmic is going to have a major role in the future. But once we do sort of this, you know, Skrull, Secret Invasion storyline, et cetera, and we start to bring in those X-Men characters, you know, the bridge between, I feel like, the cosmic world and the Earth world is really going to go through the Shi'ar Empire. I mean, I think that they can do so many storylines with, like, you know, Operation Galactic Storm and Shi'ar versus the Kree, or they can do all these mutant X-Men storylines with them going to space, because that's something we didn't explore in the Fox film. So I really do think that, you know, the bridge between characters like Cyclops and Colossus and Storm to characters that are like, you know, Silver Surfer and the Guardians of the Galaxy is going to be the Shi'ar characters right here. And this is a really cool spec book, in my opinion, one that I'm super happy to add to the collection, and one that has definitely gotten pretty pricey recently. I mean, you can maybe find some low-grade copies out there on eBay around that $70 price point. But like most of the time, I feel like if you're looking for a really nice copy, you got to be spending around that, $120, $140 range, which is, goes to show that, this is a book that has definitely gone up in value, because this sticker right here was for 20 bucks, probably back in the 90s. So definitely a book that has 6x, 5x its return. And actually, there are a couple of funny things to point out here. I think this Avengers book right here, look at that old price sticker, looks like it was 10 bucks. And then this one right here, this one is 14, which actually, it's funny because I definitely have seen this book priced around that $14 price point. So definitely a book that has not gone up in value like it should. So undervalued book alert, Avengers number 46. But that's the 4 books Ozzi sent over to me. Ozzi, man, thank you so much for sending this. This is really awesome. These are all great books, and I'm really happy to now add them to my collection. I'm really excited about this X-Men 107 one. I mean, this was never going to be an easy book for me to find. Or when I say easy, like, I'm talking about like finding this book for, under market. I feel like everybody kind of knows those X-Men keys. I very rarely see the X-Men keys underpriced out there in the wild. Well, I guess I can kind of end the video there, but I did kind of want to speak a little bit to the idea of mystery boxes. I mean, I don't think that this was really a true mystery box. I mean, Ozzi knows my taste, and he sent me over great books. This is not really a mystery box, but because I personally don't think I'm ever going to be buying any mystery boxes on this channel, I feel like this gives me a good opportunity to kind of go on my soapbox a little bit about mystery boxes. Now, don't get me wrong. If you're someone out there who enjoys purchasing mystery boxes and you really like, having the surprise and, unboxing things, and it's really fun for you, it's like Christmas morning, I totally understand that. It's just, for me, that's not really how I want to, approach my comic book collecting. One of the things I always bring up on this channel is, video games, or I try to sometimes use analogies to video games when I talk about comic books. I mean, we are Swaggle Comics and Games, right? I mean, I think one day, hopefully in the future, I'll be doing more gaming content, or not necessarily gaming content, but, I got to think about like what else I'm going to do with this channel to, recognize that name, that we are Swaggle Comics and Games. Although maybe I don't need to recognize that at all. It doesn't really matter. I mean, who cares? You guys are probably not even watching this video anymore because I'm not even opening comic books anymore. But with that being said, let me just talk about unboxing mystery boxes and why I don't like them. I mean, for me in video games, there's this kind of, acknowledgement about, people don't like RNG. Now, for those who are the uninitiated, RNG is basically an acronym for random number generation, which is basically, a way to say like, hey, whenever this interaction happens in a video game, effectively the, AI is going to roll the dice for you, and then it's going to make some decision based on the probability of that outcome. And what happens a lot of time is that, when you leave it up to RNG, that can really make for some unsatisfying outcomes in a particular situation. So in the case of mystery boxes here, I think of it like a little bit RNG. Like certainly if I do a, say, $50 mystery box, I can have some comic books, and presumably the value of those comic books in that box are going to exceed that $50 value, right? Presumably. And for the most part, they probably do. But for me, when I'm talking about, books that I personally want in my collection and how I want to curate my collection, for me, I want to maximize the probability of my outcomes in my comic book collection, which is basically to say, I want to always be, in the driver's seat, making the choice for which comic I am adding to that collection. Now, that might mean that I don't, win big, for instance. Like I don't get that, $1,000 mystery key in the $100 mystery box. There's certainly that gamble, which is going to be great if you win big. But for me, I would rather know what is going into my collection, and I would rather be in control of my own destiny, so to speak, with my comic book collecting. So I would personally rather trust myself or my choices or my tastes in books that I think are going to be desirable in the market, a la, certain keys that I think are really great, or certain spec books that I think are, interesting or have good opportunity, versus some other person suggesting to me that this is the book of the future. And actually, now that we're kind of making that conclusion, I actually think that this is a good way to, transition to me saying, don't listen to me, right? Like you should be the GM of your own collection, and everyone who plays for your team or is on your roster should be someone that you value or someone that you want. And if you're leaving it up to chance, or you're leaving it up to, say some other curated person or some other person to curate, your comic book collection. But for me, I just personally would rather have that control and, be making the choices myself. But I don't know. It was also kind of fun to open up a box and, be really surprised by what you get in it. So maybe, mystery boxes are super fun to those people who just like opening Christmas presents. But anyways, that's all I have for this video. Drop me a like, comment, subscribe if you're enjoying the content. Thank you so much, Ozzy. I really, really appreciate this. I will definitely be putting these in milers now. See you guys.